The week starts out with the moon in Aquarius, but it's moving away from Pluto and that Mars-Pluto opposition. But don't worry, there's still plenty of Sturm und Drang to go around. But instead of recoiling in fear, let's get excited about that because the times, they are a-changin'. Quick overview of the week first, and then what to do with this energy. The Aquarius moon on Monday and Tuesday might help us find a humanitarian way to understand what's going on. If we can put the importance of our inner growth on the same importance as our feelings of anger, righteous or not, it's going to be much easier to accomplish our goals. Working on ourselves, by the way, is not selfish. It is a public service. On Tuesday, the moon moves into Pisces with its traditional ruler, Jupiter, quintile Mercury, or Mercury quintile Jupiter, actually. That gives extra power to our thoughts and words. Extra creative boost there. On Thursday, Venus conjuncts Saturn exactly at 7:22 p.m. So now we've got a new pattern for the next 225 days. Then the moon moves in and conjuncts the two of them at 9:36 Central. This is a beautiful opportunity for creative transformation. How are you going to use that energy? Can't wait to see what happens on the world stage. Early Friday morning at 2:24 a.m. Central Time, the moon moves into Aries, and the sun is semi-square Jupiter for a more energetic day than yesterday with good conversations, and it's a good time to collaborate. On Saturday, April 26th, Mars opposes Pluto. It's exact at 8:36 p.m. Central. So this is the big power struggle that we're seeing in the politics of the USA, for one thing, and probably in the struggles that we're dealing with in real life, where it feels like we are trying to push a boulder up a hill. This is the third and final pass at this opposition because of Mars retrograde. We've been going in and out of this head-on collision. But this is the last time. Third time is the charm, I think, comes from ancient astrology. The third time we're going to be accomplishing the things that were set out to do the first time that there was this opposition. I hope we're going to see some dams breaking. On Sunday, April 27th at 2:29 p.m., the new moon in Taurus. So the sun will conjunct the moon for a new moon. Let's be aware that the new moon squares Mars and Pluto. So again, it's that emphasis of this power struggle. That is novile Venus and Saturn, with exalted Venus breaking away from Saturn and ruling the new moon. I'm appreciating the beauty of this moment that indicate to me, again, that the arc of history is bending towards justice, y'all. So right now, we've got Mars in Leo and Pluto in Aquarius, and they're on opposite sides of the chart. That's called an opposition. And they've been doing this dance going back and forth with Mars going retrograde and then coming back. This is the third pass of that dance. And this is when the lessons have hopefully accumulated and we can move forward into a new reality. And to further explain, Mars is pure will and drive. And he's in the sign of Leo, which is creative and so forth, but it's also very focused on the self. I like to say, me. It's also where the baby boomers' Pluto is. So their life mission was like wrapped up in Leo, which is an interesting coincidence right now. We've got that going on in Leo, but over here in Aquarius, we've got Pluto, which is the planet of depth metamorphosis. Caterpillar melting into goo and then emerging as a butterfly, that level of metamorphosis. So what we're hoping right now is that our drive is going to learn a lesson and redirect itself away from the power struggle and realign with moving forward in everybody's self-interest. Venus is indirectly in charge of Mars right now because Venus is ruling the sun rules Leo. So instead of Mars being bossed around by the moon, and that's changing all the time in Cancer, I'm probably getting way far in the weeds right now, but suffice to say, right now, indirectly, Venus is in charge of Mars. So she's going to be tempering and hopefully kind of weakening that absolute resistance to the kind of metamorphosis that we all want to see. And that's on a personal level, because this is all going on for each of us individually as well, on the personal level as well as on the national level. I didn't mention also that Aquarius, where Pluto is, not only is Pluto about deep metamorphosis, but Aquarius is about breaking through or revolting against the limitations that have been placed on us that may not really be limitations. Like, a real limitation is I can't sprout wings and fly. An imposed limitation is I can't get on a plane and fly away. You see what I mean? So imposed limitations is what we are liberating ourselves from right now with Pluto in Aquarius. And of course, we've got lots of folks who don't want to know and they don't want to grow. And that can be us on different levels about different things, This all plays out in our personal lives in a different way, depending on where this is falling in your chart. So part of the not wanting to know is not wanting to recognize where we are just completely closed off to changing, completely closed off to any kind of metamorphosis. Where are we doing that? It helps to know your chart to be able to figure this out. For me, Pluto is in my third house. So I'm dealing with learning how to communicate better. So what we want to do is to give up the self-loathing, the hatred we have of ourselves that we are projecting onto other people as an excuse not to make the change. Because if we did that, we would have to give up the innocence that we have of just, going on, I didn't know, resisting seeing the truth. And that's going to take our excuses away. And that's really uncomfortable. Sorry. And where are we doing this in our personal lives is also like, are we opposing ourselves? Are we being so hard on ourselves we can't grow because we're always in the grip of this, I've got to be doing something else, the imposed limitations of other people's expectations can keep us back from a joyful life because we're so concerned with how we look to other people. So be on the lookout for that. Where are you just letting some kind of imposed limitation completely rule out something you really want to accomplish? It's a good question, huh? We can see it politically. We know what's going on there, but bring it on home. It's hard. But the thing is, with this Mars-Pluto thing, it's like trying to stop a tank with a pea shooter or even a pistol. Like Mars up against Pluto, Pluto is the tank and just, kind of laughing at somebody trying to oppose it. Pluto is going to win in this power struggle. Pluto's just going to keep rolling on through. What kind of change are you going to make? And what kind of change are you going to make happen in the outer world as well as in your inner life? Big, exciting time of change right now. So if you're really struggling right now, that's completely understandable because all of this is hitting our personal charts. And if you'd like some help figuring out how to work with this energy, what to do, and what it really means for you, you can order a reading with me. I'd be happy to meet with you. We can talk it all out. I can help you figure out how to feel better, how to capture this energy, and what to do. And we can look at what's going to be happening for you over the next year or so. And yeah, I have never had a client that didn't leave a reading of mine without saying, I feel so much better. I can help you feel better by showing you what's going on kind of behind the scenes in the astrology, your personal astrology. So anyway, michellecraft.love. I'll put links in places. Contact me. And another thing on the personal front, it's going to be very easy to fall into arguments, and maybe ones that we've been having the whole time Mars and Pluto have been opposing each other these last months. Maybe it's going to get resolved, but also our watchword right now is humility and compassion. That's 2 words, our watchwords. We have to be able to be introspective and make sure we're not on the wrong end of this power struggle. Just take a look. Humility and being able to say we were wrong, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous thing to see in somebody else. Instead of feeling like admitting that you are wrong is losing face, to everybody on the receiving end of that, you're not being diminished in their eyes. They're overjoyed that you're seeing it their way, or that you are admitting to being human, you know? So if you find yourself on the wrong end of the struggle, just remember it, you've always got a door out. You can always say, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize." And you might get a little blowback, but in the end, you're going to win because you're doing the right thing. There's nothing more beautiful than "I'm sorry." I am sorry, I think, are almost more beautiful words than "I love you," you know? And we can be 100% correct and still owe somebody an apology for the way we presented the information, or maybe we were being a big fat dick about it. And you can be a dick about being right, for sure. Ask me how I know. And if you're on the receiving end of a power struggle, if somebody's arguing with you and it feels like you're losing and you know that you're right, one of my favorite tricks is to feel sorry for them. Pity is kind of ugly and people don't like to feel it. People don't like to feel that somebody's feeling sorry for them, but it's sure, if you can feel that inside of you when you're looking at somebody and just feel sorry for them that they're so hung up on their trip, it takes all of their power away, because now you're just being ridiculous instead of, "Oh my God, how am I going to fight you?" Like, drop the tug of war rope. Just drop the rope and let them fall on their ass. I'm sure you can figure out how to apply that kind of logic where, as long as we're fighting back, then the other person has control of the rules of the game. I'm not saying to give up on struggles, particularly when we know that we're right. I am talking about looking for a third way, looking for the creative power of Venus to transform what's going on. Because let's get back to Venus. She's also driving the train here. And, it's like there's this big fight going on between Mars and Pluto, and Venus is in the sidelines directing the script because she's also ruling Aquarius, which is where Pluto is. So love can really come back in and change things right now. That's the big message of this week. So we can use that Mars-Pluto energy to get a lot of things done instead of using it to argue, like there's a lot of force wrapped up there. So we can get things done. We can get our to-do list knocked out. We can start doing planks. We can start running. If we've been walking, we can start running. If we've been, or walk longer, or, whatever it is to kick up your physical exertion some. That will take kind of the out of it. It sure helps me anyway. It's worth a try. You can do sit-ups at home or planks or whatever it is. And when you start feeling that tension build, like I always say, take a break, take your smoke break, go wash your hands, go do a plank, whatever it is. And remember that it is okay to be wrong. The worst thing we can do is be wrong and not admit it. That's so much worse. And the energy this week really is about going after what we want, what we desire. And if we can put effort into that, that's going to produce the kind of breakthroughs that we're really after right now. We're going to get a little extra cosmic boost by going after what we really want, what we believe in, what is loving, what's good for everyone. We're after innovative change right now. We might experience some breakthroughs where we thought there was no hope. And to quote the Rocky Horror Picture Show, don't dream it, be it. So let's be conscious of how we use our energy this week. Instead of sitting around being angry, do something with that energy. Do something with that energy that supports your highest values. And at the same time, remember that one of your highest values is taking care of yourself, emotionally, psychologically, with boundaries, in all ways. Taking care of yourself is a public service. So keep the faith, take care of yourself, and remember that I love you, but the universe loves you more. Bye.